Hello everyone and welcome. Today I'm going to give you a step-by-step tutorial how to install the 64-bit versions of MagiReco either on your PC via an emulator, which in my opinion is the best way of playing any mobile game, or if you really want to play it on a phone and you have a mobile phone that can play MagiReco and that is also an Android phone. I'm also going to show you how to do that, so stick around for that. If you have an iPhone and you specifically want to play it only on your iPhone and you don't want to play it on your PC via an emulator, I don't think I can help you because iPhones are kind of terrible when it comes to actually getting stuff to work that isn't as the developer intended it. So the only thing I can tell you is stop buying iPhones and buy Android phones instead, or play it on PC. It's also going to work with an emulator. So how we're going to do this is right here, the installation page on the wiki, which is going to show us a whole bunch of ways of getting stuff to work. Now, I showed in the other video, the easy install does not work anymore because we're going to need a newer version of Android that is 64-bit. And as far as I know, easy install as it currently is, maybe gets updated in the future, but as it currently is, will not handle 64-bit versions. And instead, what you can theoretically do is use a modified or a cured APK. And while that is in theory the easiest way of doing it, as you will just go to the Discord or the Reddit and you'll just ask someone for a link to the current modified APK. You just install the APK on either your phone or your emulator and it just works straight out the box. While that is possible, it is also possible to theoretically get banned, like get your MagiReco account banned if they find out you're using a modified APK. Now, as far as I know, no one has gotten their account banned with that yet, but it's still possible. And if you want to keep your account safe, we're going to have to make sure that we install MagiReco in a way that isn't breaking any terms of service. Now, in order to do that, we're going to use the ADB method. There's either the automatic version or the manual version. I'm going to go over the automatic version. We're going to give a shout out at the very end towards the manual version as well. Now, all the stuff they're going to do right now, at least most of the stuff, is going to be basically the same between either emulator or using it on a phone. So if we're going to go with the emulator version, I'm going to still recommend Memu, specifically now. If you had Nox before, Nox, as far as I know, does not have a 64-bit version of it yet. As far as I know, a year ago, a developer said they're working on it. And as far as I know, there hasn't been an update on it since then. So I don't think there's a 64-bit version of Nox yet. There is a 64-bit version of BlueStacks yet, but BlueStacks is a bit weird, and I don't like how many ads BlueStacks gives me because BlueStacks is full of ads. Personally, I've installed it on both BlueStacks and on Memu, and on Memu, MagiReco seems to run a lot better and crashes less, at least in my opinion. I know that some other players have told me that it's the other way around, but I'm going to go with a Memu, so this is the one. Now, I know in the last video I said to download it through this button right here. Don't actually do that, that's a bad idea, and I know that's a mistake I made in the last video. Instead, you're just going to Google Memu, and you're going to find any third-party link, like for example, you're going to see right here, Memu 7.5 on this page. I'm probably going to put a link to this in the description below. You want a version that is like 7.5 or later. I don't know which version first had 64-bit emulators in it, but I know that 7.5 definitely has 64-bit to it, so download 7.5 for now. And I'm going to get back to this later, but we're also going to need something else. We're going to need ADB. Now, ADB is the Android debug bridge, and this is the page where you download. I'm going to also put a link to this in the description below as the ADB download, and you just download right here the SDK platform tools for Windows right here, and we're going to need that as well. We're also going to need something else, but I'm going to come back to that later because right now we're going to need to set a whole bunch of stuff up. Now, if you're using the stuff on your phone and you really want to get it down to your phone, you will still need ADB right here. So no matter what you're going to do, you're going to need this right here, the SDK platform tools. And once you unpack them, they're going to look like this. It's just a bunch of files in your folder right here. Just unpack them somewhere on your PC, and where you unpack them, you're going to need that. You're going to need the location of where you unpack that in a second, because what I want to do with you guys is I'm going to add that to the environmental variables. I'm going to add that to path, and some of you guys who know what that means are going to be like, oh shit, no, we're not going to do that. Well, no, I'm going to do that because that's actually kind of, I think it's actually needed. I think we actually need to do this to make sure everything works correctly. Now, this is something you're only going to need to do once. Everything that I'm going to need to show you guys, you're going to need to do just once. It's a little bit of setup. We're going to have to walk up a mountain, but don't worry guys, once we're up that mountain, you're never going to have to climb that mountain again. Just do it once and we're going to be done. You're going to be fine. I'm going to show everything on screen right now. So we're going to take the path right here. This is the path up in the top left where I installed ADB to, or unpacked it to rather. And once I have unpacked ADB to this directory, I'm going to take this directory and going to copy it, or like right click. I'm going to copy this. Okay, so now I have the path for ADB in my copy paste, as you can see. So we're going to hit the Windows button, or we're just going to click the start button down here, and I'm just going to type environment, and you're going to see something pop up right here, edit system environment. This works on both Windows 7 and Windows 10. You can just go to start and just start typing environment, and you can see, oh, it pops up right there. So I'm going to click on this, and then it's a whole bunch of system stuff. Don't worry about this. We're going to click this button right here, environment variables. So these are some environment variables, and you're going to ignore the top side, and you're going to go down here to the bottom side. This is going to look basically the same on Windows 7 as well. This is Windows 10 right here. I've installed Windows 10 like a few days ago, so this is still fairly new to me. But you're going to go down here, and where it says path right here, it says path on the left. Not path ext, just path over here, and you're going to edit this. Now on Windows 10 it looks like this. On Windows 7 it's going to look different. I'm going to do it in a way where both of them look the same. If you go click edit text right here, this is the way it looks on Windows 7. On Windows 7 you're going to get this right here. You're going to go all the way to the right. I'm going to get rid of this. And on the very right, either there is a semicolon or there isn't, but we're going to have a semicolon on the very right, semicolon. So ignore everything that it says over here on the left. You're going to ignore all that. Go all the way to the right, semicolon, and then copy paste in the path to your ADB. Okay, you just copy paste in your path to your ADB after a semicolon of whatever is on the left of that. There might be a whole bunch of different stuff on the left. Don't care about that. And you're going to hit the OK button. And that's it. That's all you've done. That's all. If you go back in here, you'll see on Windows 10 it's going to add like an entry. I mean, there was another way of doing it where you like have this and then that and then this, but yeah, whatever. So now that you've done all of that, if we're going to once again hit the start button, hit the Windows button. I know this looks a bit complicated, just do step by step. You only, like I said, we only need to climb this mountain once. Once you've climbed this mountain, we're done forever. Never have to do this ever again. So we're going to hit the Windows button again. This time we're going to type CMD. It's going to give you the command prompt. Also, once again, this should work on Windows 7. You should find this right here. If not, just type maybe like command or whatever, and you'll see command prompt right here. And you can just click it or right click or run it as administrator. I don't think you need to run it as administrator, but if something doesn't work, just run it as an administrator. So we're going to have our command prompt right here. And as a little test, if you just type in ADB, one of two things can happen. Either it's going to tell you, I don't know what ADB is. If it tells you, I don't know what ADB is, you did something wrong with the environment variables. The stuff that I just showed you, if you did something wrong with that, it's going to tell you right here, I don't know what ADB is. If you do it correctly, this is going to happen. It's going to show you a whole bunch of weird stuff. Okay, it's going to show you a whole bunch of weird stuff right here. You don't need to worry about this if you did it correctly. If you already have a command prompt open and then change your environment variables and then add it to path, you will have to close and restart your command prompt afterwards to make sure the changes are correct. Now, we're not quite done yet with setting up ADB, because here's the thing. When you install Memu, and I want you guys to install Memu at this point before we continue on with the rest of the video, so just go like pause the video at this point, install Memu, and then once you have installed Memu, you'll have this right here. Like, this is my stuff where I install my stuff, my emulators, and you'll see, oh, this is Memu right here. This is where I installed Memu too. And we're going to go into the installation for Memu. This is the installation for Memu. You see a whole bunch of stuff. And the very important part is at the very top here, it will show you adb.exe. I've already deleted it, right? But just imagine that right here, there was a file that said adb.exe. Okay. This file right here, this adb.exe, delete it. It's bad. This is a bad file. This is gonna mess with us. We don't want this file to mess with us. Delete it. We've got our own ADB now, and we're gonna work with our own ADB because that's our own ADB is gonna work. This ADB right here is not gonna work, so we're gonna delete it. Now, what's possible is that it tells you I can't delete this because it's currently in use. In that case, you hold down Control Shift and hit Escape, and it's gonna open up Task Manager. Or just open up Task Manager with, you can just, there's other ways of opening Task Manager. Just open up Task Manager. I think you can also just do Windows and then Task Manager like this. You can do some cool stuff with that. Anyway, so you open up Task Manager, Control, Shift, Escape, hits Task Manager open, nice. And over here you'll see like background process. On Windows 7 you'll need to go to the Task tab and then find adb.exe, and then you just go right click End Task. And once you've ended the task, then you can actually go into your file system and delete adb.exe. Okay, now that we've done all of that, ADB is set up. To double check in here, is it set up? Yes, it's set up. ADB is working nice. ADB is going fine. Now, as a little test, if you type in ADB devices, ADB space devices, it might tell you something about a daemon or something. Don't worry about that. And it's going to say, oh, this is the device, the task. It's going to show you nothing. This is basically showing you nothing, okay? This is empty. This is fine. But we're going to make stuff show up in that list in a second. So we're now going to open the multi-Memu. If you've installed Memu and you go once again, Windows, like Start button, and then type in Memu, you'll see like your regular Memu and you'll see something called multi-Memu. We're going to either click on multi-Memu, or if it doesn't show up, you can also go once again into this file system right here and click on Memu Console. Memu Console. Oh, okay. We're going to click on Memu Console. Also, this is the multi-Memu that it also showed in here. These are the same thing. The same thing, just called different names for some reason. So in here, if you have this newer version of Memu, what we're going to be able to do is going to click this button down here, New, and it's going to show up. 64-bit Android is going to show up. If you have an older version of Memu, it's not going to show up. You're going to need like at least 7.5 or later, or some other new Memu version. It's going to show up in here, or just specifically download BlueStacks 64-bit is also going to work like this. BlueStacks, some of the steps I'm going to do in here should work in BlueStacks as well. Actually, everything that I'm doing should work in BlueStacks, but I can't guarantee it. So I'm going to click down here, Android 7.1, we're going to click that button, it's going to install, and once it installs, you're going to see right here, this is my 64-bit Android, it's going to install like right here. It might have to download 64-bit version first, which might take a few minutes once you press that button. Just wait a bit. Once you click that button down here, it might have to download 64-bit version first. But once it's downloaded, once it's installed, you'll see this right here, and we're going to start it, and we're going to get an ad. Ignore the ad. We don't care about ads. It's going to show us like, oh, do you want to play this? Do you want to play this cool mobile game? No, I don't want to play this mobile game. I want to play MagiReco. So we're going to go in into a fresh install. And what we're going to do is going to go into the settings. Now, in theory, everything here in here should already be totally fine. You shouldn't need to go in here, but just to double check that everything is fine. If you go to network, your network node must be on NAT. Down here it might say something like bridged mode. Don't go into bridged mode. Bridged mode will make this not work. You need to be on NAT, otherwise it will not work. Go into NAT. We'll need this for ADB later. So make sure ADB is NAT is selected. If you are changing, you might need to restart Memu afterwards. And now one thing we need to do to get all this stuff to work, and once again, all this stuff is just do it once, it's gonna be done. Like, I know this might be a bit overwhelming for you guys, but do it once, it's gonna be done forever, just do it once. We're gonna go into the settings on our emulator. Finding these settings on BlueStacks is hard. I couldn't find them myself, so, and they're different, every single BlueStacks version, they're in different places, but yeah, just try and find your Android settings. I'm going to have to go into developer options. Now, in order to, you need to enable developer options first. And if you're using a phone for this, if you're doing this on a phone, I'm going to show you how to do this on a phone as well. You will also need to do what I'm doing right now. You need to go into your settings, right? Like if you pull down the menu at the very top, there should be like the gear. like these Android settings right here. Oh my god, the glare. We have like the Android settings at the very top that you can go into, and you're gonna go all the way to the side where it shows you like about phone or about tablet. Like this is also on a tablet, like about phone, and you hit this about button right here. And here's the thing that you need to do. A lot of Android users probably already know about this. This is something that you can't do on iPhones because iPhones are fucking shit. Get an Android phone, guys. If you go down here where it says build number, here's the magic, guys. Click build number multiple times. Just tap it multiple times, and it's gonna enable developer options. You're just gonna become a developer by tapping build number. I've already done this, so it's gonna say, oh, you're already a developer. Thanks, Memu. I'm already a developer. That's true. So we're going to go back, and once you are a developer, this right here will show up. It will show you developer options right here. And once you click on it, you get a whole bunch of really cool stuff that iPhone doesn't have. Like I said, iPhone doesn't. And you're going to have this button right here that says USB debugging. You need to enable USB debugging or this will not work. Once again, like on your phone, I've also done this on my phone. I'm going to show you. I'm not going to be able to show you this because of the glare, but I've also enabled USB debugging on my phone. What this does is that now, because of our network mode NAT and because of USB debugging, what this means is that while Memu is running, our PC thinks that there is currently a phone attached to our PC via USB. Our PC just believes we have a USB phone attached right now, and that is the magic. Now, thank you, Peaches, for streaming. I'm going to check that out in a bit. If you do this with your phone, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to get a cable, a USB cable that connects this to your PC. And once it's connected to your PC, you once again enable USB debugging, and it's gonna theoretically be the same from now on, but there might be some other stuff that you might need to do, but it's gonna depend on your phone, right? Like just Google your phone and then ADB, like let's say we have a Huawei, for example, you just might type Huawei ADB, and you should probably get a tutorial on how to get ADB to work with a Huawei phone on USB debugging. It's probably also gonna tell you to enable USB debugging first. But yeah, now that we've done all of this, now we've enabled USB debugging and we've set the network mode to NAT, make sure you restart your Memu. So you just close this, okay, and then wait for this to stop. Go back into Memu, okay. Once again, here's the ad. Thank you for showing me all these amazing games that I can be playing, but I want to play MagiReco instead. So once all this is done, once you've restarted, if we go back into our command prompt, and now here's the magic. If we type in ADB devices again, it's going to show a device. And this device right here, that's our emulator. That's the emulator that our PC is thinking is attached. Now there is a chance that this doesn't show up right away. If it doesn't, you can try to connect manually. Manually connecting is not quite that simple because you need to do a little bit of digging. So for like 99% of people watching this video, it will probably just work at this point. But for the 1%, I know you guys, I'm gonna help you out, guys. It's only gonna take a minute. I'm gonna help you out, guys. Okay, we're gonna need to find the port. We're gonna need to find the port of this Memu instance. It will, in most cases, the port will just be is these five numbers back here, 21503. Mine is different, but for the most part, the port will be 21503. We're gonna need to find this port. Okay, go back into the installation. This is why I still have this open. Go back into the installation for Memu. Go into Memu Hyper-V VMs, and you're gonna see it shows up a whole bunch of Memu things right here. These are the Memus that it shows in your multi-Memu. If you only have one, it's only gonna show one. I have 3, so it shows 3 Memus. And the one that I'm using for this is Memu 2. Okay, this is Memu 2 right here. I'm gonna go into this one. If instead you're using Memu, the first Memu, you go into this, and that's gonna be a file right here that ends in .memu-prev. And I'm gonna open it with, you can either open it with like your regular text editor or whatever, like Notepad or whatever. I have Notepad Plus, and Notepad Plus is like way better, like Notepad Plus. Oh my god, it looks so much better than regular Notepad. You just open it in Notepad or whatever, and you will find a line down here that says the following. Oh, forwarding ADB host IP host port. Oh, these are the 5 numbers. We'll need these 5 numbers. These are the 5 numbers that you need in order to make sure that everything works fine, okay? In this case, it's 21523, might be 21503, 21513. You can kind of see a pattern right there. So we're gonna go in here and type in ADB connect 127.0.0.1 as localhost. This is the host IP that it showed in here, by the way. And then we're gonna add the port 21. Double check 21523, 21523, and it's gonna connect, and it says I'm already connected to this, okay? But you might need to do this yourself. Like I said, like this is for the 1% of you guys out there. I'm probably gonna have a section below in the video where you can just skip over this or whatever. Okay, so now we're definitely connected to this device. But so if it says, so if you type in ADB devices and it says a list of the devices attached and it shows your device, if you have a phone, it should also show just one device in here attached. You might also need to connect, but this is a bit weird. Like I said, just Google your phone brand, your phone marker, whatever you make, and ADB on Google, and hopefully you find some sort of tutorial how to get the connection to work. But once it is connected in here, now we're just done. Okay, now we're just done. We're actually done with the setup. We never need to do this setup ever again, right? We never need to do this setup ever again, because now every time we're gonna open up our Memu, every time we start Memu, every time we connect our phone with a USB, it's just gonna automatically connect on a ADB, or at least it should automatically connect on ADB, and we're gonna be fine. So now here comes the part where we actually install MagiReco. The entire video until now was just setting up ADB. Now we actually install MagiReco. So there's the auto installer. If you do manual install, you can already see that the first part was ADB devices. Oh, we've already done that. In theory, I can already type in a whole bunch of stuff right here, but I'm not going to do that. But if you're doing manual at this point, you would just type in a whole bunch of stuff to make it work. But you would need to download the APK. And I guess I will show you guys where to download the APK. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to this page right here. I'm going to link it in the description below. You're going to go down to this page, and you're going to see it. Right now, 2 different files. If you're watching this in future, maybe just 1 different file. One is ARM7, that's 32-bit, and one is ARM8, that's 64-bit. Now download the ARM8 file if you're doing this manually. Probably no one watching this video is going to do this manually, but if you want to do it manually, you would have to get the ARM8 APK, download it, put it somewhere on your PC, and then follow these steps down here where you put in the path to your APK and then load it onto your phone or whatever. But instead, we're doing the automatic version, okay? In the automatic version, there's this GitHub page right here. It's the automatic installer right here, and you're gonna have to download it. It says right here releases. You click releases, it's gonna take you to this page right here, where you download it for Windows, for example. The ADB that we've been using was for Windows as well, but maybe you can do it on an Apple PC. I don't know. But you're gonna download this. You're gonna unpack it. It's gonna look like this. It's just a single file. It's literally just a single file. However, if you've set up your ADB correctly and everything just works, if your ADB devices actually shows either your phone or your emulator as connected, here's the part that you do. You just double click it, and that's all you have to do. That's literally it. You just wait. Now it's downloading. It's downloading the newest APK, and it just works. It just does it for you. It's as simple as that. We've spent all this time setting up ADB, setting up an emulator, setting up your phone connection with all of the stuff, USD debugging. We spent all this time, and now that we've done all of this stuff, all we need to do is just hit this button right here, and it just works. Now let's say, for example, that a new version comes out, a new version of the game comes out, and you need to update your version, right? Like you need to update the version of MagiReco. You just hit this button again, and it just automatically updates it. It's literally that simple. You just hit this button again and it updates it. Or you do the manual setup again that you've seen. Or if you're using a current modified APK, you just download the newest modified APK. But it's literally that simple. It's literally that simple. Bam. Like, I've just simulated what happens when you get a new version. That's it. Now we go back into the Memu. Oh, look at that. It's right there. It's MagiReco. We play it. It works. It just does it. It just does it. Isn't that great? And on your phone it should be the same. It should just install it automatically on your phone. The manual version also works with your phone. Basically everything here works with your phone in theory up here, apart from iPhones. Once again, iPhones. Don't buy iPhones, guys. Just get an Android or play it on PC. Both. Either get an Android or play it on PC. Both of those things just work. If you specifically only want to play it on an iPhone, it's still possible. It's still possible in theory with a VPN. It's weird. it's weird. 80% of the people on our Discord that ask on how to get MagiReco to work want to play it on an iPhone. So I speak from experience when I hate on iPhones. Anyway, but yeah, this just works. It just works. If you have any questions below, if you're on BlueStacks, you want to get it to work on BlueStacks, and you are having a problem that isn't in this video, maybe someone in the comments below knows about it. Maybe in the future when Nox gets a 64-bit version, maybe then someone else in the comments can show you if you need to do something special on Nox as well to get it to work. But in theory, all you need to do is you need to make sure to enable USB debugging either on the emulator or on your phone. You need to make sure that the network mode is not network bridge, that it is something like NAT. This is also going to be something that you're going to have to do on BlueStacks or on Nox. It's probably going to be the exact same. On phone, you don't need to worry about network mode. That's not a thing there. And that should just work. But yeah, if you have other questions, put them in the video below. Sorry that this video is a lot longer than the first one, but there was a lot more to talk about. But once we've set up all of this stuff, it's really just pressing that one button and it works. But yeah, leave some questions below. If there are some really good answers, I'm going to upvote them, I'm going to favorite them, I'm going to maybe pin a really important comment if there is something important to note. But yeah, that was it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, and I'll see you guys next time.